Singapore faces one of the highest brand safety risks in Asia Pacific, and its ad viewability rates still fall below global benchmarks. To break down what's driving these trends, we are joined by Laura Quigley from Integral Ad Science and Nicole Chu from Open Minds. Now, starting with Laura, why are ad viewability rates in Singapore lower than the global average?
Singapore is performing well on viewability with only a 4% gap versus global. And that's the difference there is that is pertaining to desktop display. If we actually look at mobile web, it's around 2%. And that's according to the recent media quality report from Integral Ad Science. So this shows that advertisers are increasingly investing and valuing viewability, and in particular, a new metric called time in view. So it's signaling that attention is the emerging currency. And as the digital market is really mature here in Singapore, audiences are starting to quickly get attention and viewability across multiple devices. So brands need to focus on securing quality and contextually relevant environments that support their campaign goals. Now, what I do want to make clear is that if brands are looking to invest more in viewability, there is only a limited supply of premium inventory. And so this can often lead to placements being in lower viewable spots, like below the fold, if brands don't prioritize viewability. So as a result, more brands are going beyond viewability, and they're starting to move to a metric that we call in the industry attention metrics. Those are things like time in view and video completion rates. So if viewability continues to be prioritized, I predict that these numbers are expected to continue to rise, and brands are going to put attention-led strategies first in terms of their campaign and media planning.
It's a bit of a shocker at first, right? So after all, Singapore is always seen as a digitally advanced and also a highly connected market with a strong infrastructure. So you expect the ad viewability rates to be on par or at least better than the global average. However, that's not the case due to three reasons why. First and foremost, mobile first habits. So most Singaporeans browse on their mobile phones on a daily basis, often making them multitaskers. And this making them sure that everything that they have browsed is really quick and subtle. So most of the ads tend to get skipped or placed on the lower ad placement itself. So the second reason why it could be the site performance issues. So slow loading ads and creatives that are not optimized for mobile tend to reduces the viewability rate. And lastly, it all comes down to that Singapore has one of the highest ad fraud rates among brand safe markets. So this is due to highly concentrated digital ad spend, advanced programmatic adoptions, and also growing usage of connected devices in Singapore.
What causes most of the brand risk in Singapore's mobile web ads?
The recent media quality report data shows us that brand risk on mobile web is around 2.3% higher than desktop at 1.6%. But where a lot of the brand risk is coming from, and this is probably no surprise, is around, unfortunately, violence-related content. And that contributes to around 69.3% of brand risks that we're seeing in this report. So more Singapore brands are taking action. They are shifting to suitability and having a suitability first mindset. And the idea with this is aiming to be really safe and put brands' ads into high quality placements that align with their brand values. What I do want the audience to know is that while some of these numbers may sound scary, the good news is that technology already exists to prevent ads from appearing next to harmful or inappropriate content. It's a fixable issue. So as H2 approaches with major holiday campaigns and plenty of cultural moments here ahead of us in Singapore, it's now time for brands to take brand safety really seriously if they're not already, and really work with technology and trusted partners to help advertisers ensure their messages are not only in a safe and suitable environment, but also an environment where it's got high levels of attention.
The main reason, I think, is down due to the lack of local sustainability controls and also a high appetite for news-based content. So this is a reflective of Singapore's highly digital media consumption, where ads are often placed programmatically next to emotionally charged news or user-generated content that doesn't align with their brand's values. So unlike other markets, right, Singaporeans tend to engage with local and also international news on a daily basis. So this means a higher exposure when it comes to politically sensitive topics or even societal complex content, which without proper guardrails can put brands at reputational risk.
Now that we've gone through all the causes and concerns, how can brands get people to look at their ads longer in Singapore? Any recommendations, Laura?
Brands need locally informed, attention-driven media strategies and ultimately delivering creativity in high-quality, relevant environments to really hold that user's attention. So research shows that 80% of consumers say surrounding content impacts how their brands perceive a brand's ad. And 74% are more likely to remember an ad when the message aligns with content that is nearby. So attention metrics are really at the core of all of this to help brands understand which placements are driving stronger engagement and enabling smarter media for spending in terms of optimizing towards attention. And I think everyone really likes a case study in terms of a proof point that this does work. A recent campaign with Standard Chartered Bank in Hong Kong optimized towards attention signals. And it led to a 126% increase in conversion rates and a 17% drop, which is really important, in cost per conversion. So it really shows that a strong case for moving beyond viewability to attention. And we're seeing a lot of brands leaning into this because ultimately attention does drive outcomes for the brand and for agencies as well.
As a marketer myself, I think this is where the fun actually begins. Increasing ad engagement in Singapore means going beyond just generic messaging. It's about crafting all these micro moments of relevance. We know Singaporeans are very digitally savvy and expect hyper-personalized and dynamic content that shows up at the right time, at the right place. So brands could integrate MarTech stacks that pair with real-time behavior data and also creative automation that enables ads to adapt on user behavior, user interest, and also browsing history or even past purchases. So equally as important as the whole entire picture, which is digital orchestration, we're making sure that every touch point sings the same song and sings the same campaign messaging as well.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights, Laura and Nicole. Looking forward to having you both back on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Once again, those were Laura Kigley, SVP for Asia Pacific at Integral Ad Science, and Nicole Chu, Business Development and Digital Consultant of Open Minds. For more news, visit sbr.com.sg.